Welcome, 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 welcome. Sorry, I couldn't find the button to press live. Welcome to another Raw Coffee in the Mornings. Good morning, good morning. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not have music in the background today because we've been having technical difficulty. But we will be smoking. We will be talking about everyday life. Um, if y'all caught the show earlier, I ended with the show of talking about how I want to start the detective work versus. Ooh, let me get that out the way. Detective work versus cashing out, and the whole purpose of this segment, I want to start a segment. It's called investigation or cash out. Basically, we're gonna make scenarios or synopsis, real live events, that things that are going on that affects you, and what we want to find out: are you gonna do detective work, find out where these programs and where these systems come from, and why they run in the way they run, or are you gonna do what the typical person does in America? And like, I don't care. Like, what they do? What we gonna do? That's the whole purpose of this. I have this article I just read, y'all. I just freaking read. Um, I guess I'm gonna bring it up. It's it's a Dr. Phil television. It's on a Dr. Phil show. A gender person. Can you do me one small favor? Pour that up and up in here. Yeah, just pour in that green thing.
Oh, okay. Is it a top?
It is. I'm supposed to be able to fill it up. Go ahead. But this person feels like they are a gender. If anybody don't know what a gender is, good. If you don't know what gender is, I don't know how to explain it to you. I really don't know how to explain it to you. But a gender is a feeling of a sex. You can feel some way about a sex and be able to say that you're this, you're that, you're that, you're this. So, in the same token, you can feel how you feel, do what you want to do, Adam's family type shit. But the main catch of what's going on is genders are excluding the word women and the definition. You can. They're not describing. They don't care. They're like I really the word excluding. They're really excluding the word women and the whole definition of what it represents. You can ask a gender person, what does women mean? They can be like, they don't know. I don't know. Now it's another dude on YouTube that I watch. Is his podcast is called Black Conservative. Okay, it's really called that. And he got this show. He got this article. I call them articles because they're really his taking time, showing you evidence, showing you proof. When you have evidence, when you have proof, I like to call those articles because those are actually proof of where the story came from. You got references from both sides, facts, and research. And I really want to play this whole clip video for y'all, just so y'all can get an understanding of where I'm coming from, or how unorthodox.
Introducing My McDonald's Rewards. Now every order earns points redeemable for free McDonald's.
So, I'm just trying to set up. Now, to add my boy Kendall over here, K-Dog, into this mix, he's from a different era. I can say we're from the same era, yeah, whatever. But we are from different eras. He's from what we will call the old school. This is people who grew up. They define the terminologies. They don't went through all of this, y'all. So I want to, like I said, I want to bring this up for us, y'all. I really want y'all to sit here and really contemplate on what we finna listen to. And yes, we will be stopping. We will be talking just like my dude right here, my black dude. We'll be doing this. So without further ado, even though y'all see him talking, he's explaining the same thing what I explained to you. I'm gonna let y'all hear what's going on. So I'm gonna let him take it.
A television, okay? So without further ado, I want to go ahead and get into this clip of Matt Walsh having this gender debate with a transgender / non-binary couple on Dr. Phil.
There should be no construct of gender, just sex. You're either male or female.
Right.
And someone feeling in a mental, emotional way that they don't identify with the sex that they have been biologically created as and assigned at birth based on their genitalia. If they...
What you're listening to is so-called the definition of a gender person. A person who, as he said, who feels a certain way. I'm going to let him take the rest.
Don't feel that way, that there's no construct that describes that, experiences that.
Well, that's got nothing to do with the reality. So you can feel however you want. I mean, I could sit here and say that I feel like a tomato plant, but that doesn't mean that I'm actually in those things. So your self-perception, you can have whatever self-perception you want, but you can't expect me to take part in that self-perception or to take part in this kind of charade, this theatrical production. You don't get your own pronouns, just like you don't get your own prepositions or your own adjectives. You know, it's like if I were to tell you, my adjectives are handsome and brilliant, and whenever you're talking about me, you have to describe me as handsome and brilliant because that's how I identify. It makes no sense. You don't get your own pronouns. That's grammar. That's language.
Yeah, I mean, I think that applies to a whole bunch of different stuff, right? Like, if I'm forced to call you by your pronouns because you feel like you're a woman even though you were a man at birth, then why can I be referred to as whatever noun I want to be referred to, right? So if I want to be referred to as daddy, right, then you got to call me daddy, right? If I want to be referred to as Poppy, then you got to call me that, right? Otherwise, I'm going to get offended, right?
Is y'all even listening? Are y'all listening? Because it's really that simple, but to the common ear, and I'm not talking about us, but to the common ear, it's not that simple. Yet again, This is what I mean by not that simple.
I'm just saying that's essentially the whole argument when it comes to the pronouns thing. You have to use it out of respect and because you don't want to offend that person. Okay, that's what the whole argument comes down to. But if you accept that as the premise for why we must comply with somebody's preferred pronouns, then you can extend that to almost anything, right? In reference to how you refer to people. Okay, if you don't refer to me the way I want to be referred to, then you're a bigot, right? Again, I mean, that's the argument here. That's the argument.
So you think it's a delusion? Someone is self-delusional.
Yeah, I think it's delusion. It could be mental illness. It could be it's a lot of different things. With children, you know, there's also
Yeah, you can't say that, right? You can't say that. You can't say it's a mental illness. They classify that as hate speech.
just a basic confusion that all.
You can't call a gender mental illness because it's a hate speech. So my question to follow it up, can you call a black person a nigger on the street without that be calling a hate speech? Ain't that almost the same difference of a reference? Okay.
All kids have. Like that's why when you hear someone, a parent say, "Oh, my 4-year-old son came to me and said that I'm a girl now, and so that's what I'm gonna raise him as a girl." No, you're a 4-year-old. I have 4 kids. When a 4-year-old boy comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm a girl," here's a good follow-up question. What is a girl? Ask him what he means by that. What do you mean by girl? And when you ask him that, here's what he'll tell you. He will tell you what he really means is that he wants to do some of the things that girls do, like play with the dollhouse, or you know, he likes the color pink. That's fine, play with the dollhouse, but you're still a boy.
Facts. I mean, what he's bringing up here is something I talk about a lot on this channel, especially when it comes to these women that identify as non-binary.
I don't even. That just goes to show you the state in which we are. That something like this can even be brought up for debate. You're a man. You're a woman. If you want to be something else in your mind, you can be whatever you want in your mind. But you're not gonna change the simple, universal fact that bone and flesh is male or female. You're not gonna change that. Now, I mean, I don't knock you. I mean, shit, believe and do what you want. That's not my job. But you can't force me to speak to you in a manner which isn't true. I mean, if
Right.
you want me to think of you and speak to you as a woman, and then be a real woman.
But see, this is where you and me and non-gender bitelia, I don't even know that's a word. This is how we think. We care. Listen, we care about how you feel. Yes, we do. What we don't care about is how you try to make us participate in y'all daily life. That's the difference. You're literally inviting us into a house when we want to stand outside in the cold. That's what's going on. You're literally making us call you words and pronouns and verbs that was taught by other meanings. You're really, we're adding the X, which is technically barely used in the alphabet. You're making us add the letter X to majority every antonym out there. Them with an X, THEMX. They, THEYX. The fuck is the fuck?
That shit don't make no sense. I mean, that shit shouldn't even be up for. It shouldn't be up for debate. That shit just don't make no sense. but see, that just goes to show you the state in which we have fallen. That some shit like this can get national news.
Or I want to say this is, but yet again, this is the part where I say detective work, y'all. Detective work or cash out. This is a prime example right here. If we would have did detective work, we wouldn't let that shit voted and passed. This is what I'm talking about detective work. If we would have did detective work, that would not have passed. But we took the cash out and don't care. The government gonna do what they want to do anyway. Well, that community took the time out to say, I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna keep voting. I'm gonna keep voting until my vote counts, until my shit matters. And now they shit matters. And you look up at the other community, no offense, Black Lives Matter, but do y'all lives really matter? Do y'all opinions really matter? Have y'all taken the time to vote out there to where it matters? And that's the whole point of this.
And they say that, well, identify as non-binary because, I do things that society traditionally sees as masculine, okay? And I'm like, no. We already have a term for that. It's called being a tomboy, right? You're a tomboy. You're not non-binary. You're simply a tomboy. You are a biological woman that tends to do things that society traditionally sees as masculine, right? You may play with action figures, okay? You might like, trucks and things that we see as traditionally masculine, right? I mean, that doesn't make you a boy, right? That doesn't make you non-binary. So it just simply means that you're a biological girl that just tends to like things that, are more masculine. It's really that simple. But again, we have this thing where we've made up these terms so that everybody has like some special identity when it's completely unnecessary, in my opinion.
That's a question I would like to throw out to other members of the panel, actually, because just like the 4-year-old can't answer what is a girl, well, this is one of the problems with this left-wing gender ideology, is that no one who espouses it can even tell you what these words mean. Like, what is a woman?
Well,
can you tell me what a woman is?
No, I can't.
Bruh, oh my God. That's not a good look. That's not a good look.
Because it's not for me to say. Womanhood looks different for everybody.
What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what is a
Womanhood cannot be different for everyone. A woman is a woman. You can't change that. It's female. Period. You can't change. You can change your own way of looking at it, but you can't change what it is. A rock is a rock until you do something else with it, but it's still a rock. No matter what you do to it, its core base is rock.
They don't change it. I noticed that these two, when we get further in, y'all, they don't change woman. But what they do is don't give it a definition.
That's what you was changing it then. By you not giving the response that is defined and established, by not giving that, you are already changing it. You are already changing.
I said, I think they don't want to change it. They want to allow change, but not from them, so they can be blamed for it. That's how deep and complicated this. Listen, y'all. Listen to them. That's how deep and complicated it's gonna get.
Well,
how
that's
do you define a
someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing.
Oh my God. That's not a good look. That's not a good look.
Because it's not for me to say. Womanhood looks different for everybody.
What do you define a woman as?
An adult human female.
And what does a female mean?
Well,
how
that's
do you define a female?
someone with female reproductive organs.
Okay.
Someone who's, here's the thing. When you're female, it goes right down to your bones, your DNA. So that's why if someone dies,
Okay.
we could dig up their bones 100 years from now. We have no idea what they believed in their head, but we can tell what sex they were because it's ingrained in every fiber of their being.
Interesting. So I'm trying to understand. Your definition is that a woman is someone who is female, you said, right?
Correct, is
Okay.
a biological female.
So what happens if we have maybe someone who is female, identifies as a woman, right? You know, cisgender woman, right? As you just explained, maybe doesn't have the ability to reproduce. Maybe doesn't have those organs that you're talking about that are reproductive organs.
I have answered the question. You stood up here and said trans women are women.
Yes.
Tell me what you mean. What is a woman?
Womanhood is something that, just as Ethan explained, I cannot define because I am not
But
myself.
you used the word, so what did you mean when you said trans women are women if you don't know what it means?
Right?
Yeah, so the thing is, if you can't define what a woman is, that means that a woman can be anything, right? Like, that's essentially what this person is saying here. That a woman can be anything, and that if a woman can be anything, then that means that the term in and of itself is meaningless, right? It has no meaning, which in my opinion means that if the term has no meaning, you really shouldn't be offended by it if you happen to be misgendered, because what you're saying is that this stuff has no meaning at all. So if it has no meaning, then why are you so caught up on being misgendered or, you know, preferred pronouns, right? If this stuff truly has no meaning to it, if you can't even define what it means, right? That's the issue.
So here's the thing. So I do not define what a woman is because I do not identify as a woman. Womanhood is something that is an umbrella term. It includes people
That
who
describes what?
people who identify as a woman.
Identify as what?
As a woman.
What is that?
But what is a woman? What is it that you're trying to identify as? Like, what does it mean? Like, what defines a woman? What characteristics would put me in the category of being a woman, right?
That's what they're saying.
That.
Was to each their own. Each woman, each man, each person is going to have a different relation with their own gender identity and define it differently.
That doesn't-
And so
I'm not
trans
asking you.
women are women too.
Okay.
Wow.
And you want to
The audience is clapping for
you want
this.
to reduce.
What you
listen,
won't even
listen.
tell me
You
what the
want to
word
reduce.
means, though. So
you
that's
want to
the
reduce
problem.
women. You want to reduce men down to maybe just their genetics, our genitals,
No.
our chromosomes, right? That's what you're
What
saying.
you want to
that
do is
that's what we're not
you
getting
what
today.
you want to do is appropriate women. You want to appropriate womanhood
Okay.
and turn it into basically a costume that can be worn.
Can Americans with no degree really get $6,495?
Sorry.
Yeah. So like I said, that is what I'm saying about Walsh, right? Walsh keep it 100, right? He keep it straight. Okay. So now we're gonna react to this clip of him discussing this subject with a professor, okay, with an academic. So let's get into it.
Extreme approach that you are admittedly taking. And then there's also just ordinary people that might not be comfortable with the language change. And it just is awkward. And so they're afraid of not being courteous or being accepting. So there's like these two things. There's actually combating and not being, you don't like transgender, the idea of transgender. That's different than pronouns. But then
Okay. Anybody just pick up on that she did not say no full sentence?
Not. I didn't know what the fuck she was talking about.
Okay.
She got the best dope in the world.
I am finna rewind this and try to understand what the devil she just tried to say. Because I heard a half sentence change. And we're trying to describe gender. Just letting y'all know what this is about, yo.
Said that is what I'm saying about Walsh, right? Walsh keep it 100, right? He keep it straight, okay? So now we're gonna react to this clip of him discussing this subject with a professor, okay, with an academic. So let's get into it.
extreme approach that you are admittedly taking. And then there's also just ordinary people that might not be comfortable with the language change. And it just is awkward. And so they're afraid of not being courteous or being accepting. So there's like these two things. There's actually combating and not being, you don't like transgender, the idea of transgender. That's different than pronouns. But then just for most people, it's just feeling a little bit awkward and unsure and not wanting to hurt or offend somebody.
Well, why is it important for educators to teach about gender identity gender presentation and pronouns. Why do you think that's important?
It's not important, right? It's not important. A lot of these people are doing it just so they can have a job, right? That's just what it is. And we honestly shouldn't be funding this stuff from a taxpayer perspective, okay? We shouldn't be funding it. Right now, if it is funded by private sector, I have no issues with that whatsoever. Zero. But why should taxpayer dollars go into funding something that, in my opinion, doesn't really have a positive return on investment in regards to economic productivity, right? I'm so serious about that.
Because there is a difference. There is biological sex, and a lot of times people are conflating sex and gender. So there's biological sex, and then there's gender, and that's a social construct in the sense that just because you're born biologically a female doesn't mean you automatically want to vacuum, for instance, which is usually a feminine activity or conflated that way.
All right, so here's the thing about that. The problem with what she's saying is that that is what she's saying. However, what other people are saying, right, is that no. A trans woman is a woman, right? Which what they're saying is that no. They're the exact same as a biological woman, which is the argument that they use to justify trans women competing against biological women in sports. They say, no, they're the exact same thing, right? So people like her, they love to use this argument against conservatives to try to make conservatives seem ignorant on this topic, right? Oh, no, you're getting biological sex and gender mixed up, right? This is why when I have conversations about this stuff, I always keep it at sex, right? When I talk about certain policies, I say, no. We just have to go based off sex, right? Because that avoids the semantics game of getting into what gender versus sex is, right? Once you get in that conversation, honestly, you're not going to win that argument with the left because they've essentially have defined gender as a social construct, right? So if you get into that whole conversation with them, again, it's a semantics game. If you keep it at just no, you can have the gender thing. I don't care about that. I'm just talking about sex. We should orient society around sex. If you keep it at that, that is a debate that they cannot win, right? So, again, the problem with her argument here is that there are people that are trying to basically blur the lines between gender and sex and say, no. A trans woman is actually a woman. A trans man is actually a man, a biological man. That's what they're doing, okay?
And so it's this idea of giving children in age-appropriate ways an understanding that these things aren't set in stone. Gender identity is not tied to biology.
You say that gender...
But it is. Here's the thing. She also talked about, gender roles when it came to, just because, you're born a woman doesn't mean you have to vacuum. But that's not what people are debating here, okay? That's not what people are debating. We're talking about certain aspects of our society that have a biological function to them. For example, which bathrooms you use, right? Nobody's saying that just because you're a woman, that means you have to vacuum. Obviously, there are some, things that we push women into from a certain perspective that, again, it's somewhat biological in nature, okay? For example, when it comes to motherhood, okay, and taking care of kids, women, just because of biology, they tend to be more nurturing, okay? Because of their hormones, they tend to, do better with kids, right? So, yeah, there are some things that we push women into that aren't necessarily just something that women can do. Men can take care of kids, too. But women, just from a biological perspective, a hormonal perspective, are just better at that. They're more equipped to do that by nature, okay? But nobody's saying that just because you're a woman that you have to vacuum or even that, you have to, stay at home all day and that you can't go to work and all this other stuff. I'm not going that far, right? Even though, I'm not necessarily down with the extreme feminism stuff. I'm just saying I wouldn't go as far as to say that, no, women must be confined to roles that have nothing to do with biology, right? I'm not saying that. But we have to acknowledge that there are some gender roles that simply are there because it is a function of biology.
It's not set in stone.
It's not.
What do you mean?
I mean that's just factually incorrect, saying that. So you have biology is the chromosomal makeup and reproductive organs and all of that. And so that would be sort of the nature side of things. But the nurture side of things is where we see more of gender identities.
She began by saying that my view is extreme. Okay, so the view that every single person on Earth has held up until 15 seconds ago is extreme. And the view that almost everyone does right now still hold is extreme, apparently, according to her. But
It doesn't make
there
any
is this
sense.
they are conflating gender and sex, because on one hand they say, well, you got your biological sex, but then your gender is whatever social construct. But then they turn around and say that trans women are women.
Exactly.
So a man who identifies with the gender, the social construct of womanhood, actually is a woman. So if you can laugh all you want, but this is a logical problem. You are conflating sex and gender just by saying that.
Yeah, what they're really trying to do is that they're trying to blur the lines between the two. And they're trying to pretend like they're not, right? And when they pretend like they're not, they do it simply to try to smear conservatives as ignorant. You don't understand, right? You don't understand the difference between gender and sex. When it's like, no. You're clearly just trying to blur the lines, okay? Because they are referring to transgender women as female. But female...
Only way these motherfuckers was ever getting away with this shit because that shit was on motherfucking applications. I'm gonna go simply dumbfounded, smart on this shit. Only way, like, no offense, I'm not trying to offend nobody, but listen here. Motherfuckers wasn't even thinking about gender until they kept looking at that motherfucking piece of paper. I'm like, damn, I have to pick something that I feel. Well, I feel like a woman. I want to get titties. I want to get this fucking thing cut off.
Or other. I'm other. Because that's on application.
But then, being offensive. Now I'm being offensive. Now I'm finna be offensive. Okay. You can choose your gender. But a black person cannot choose his ethnic background. Huh?
Yeah. But they only got like African American, not Asian or not Native American. It's like,
You know what they really need to have on that? Black American, Black English, Black Australian, Black Asian, Black everything.
because we come in everything. We come in everything. Or just take all of that shit off the applications to begin with. Doesn't fucking matter, can you work? I mean, I heard in some countries, it's not even on applications. You just, can you fill the position that you're going for, motherfucker? Can you do the job? Oh, you can do the job? You had. So that kind of makes you wonder, like, what are y'all really looking for? Who are you really looking for?
Just like an application was the first algorithm. Is the first algorithm. Or was. Because how did you get to know about anybody first? Through application. That's the only thing that was documented first. Besides your birth certificate. But your birth certificate don't say nothing.
And they got no history to it.
So what got history to it besides your doctor?
That application tells your life.
So, yeah, like my boy over here who's not here. Follow me real quick. Follow me. I don't have no other way to keep up with my people through applications. And applications has been coming in this way and that way. But you know what? We took a step further and took it into penmanship. Because you can tell a penmanship from a female and a male. Like, it's a big difference of penmanship. That's how a lot of people, when it comes to letters, can tell if a male or a female wrote it. By how it's literally structured, the flow of a pen. So we've been doing that for how long? The phone on you, sir? Shit. Y'all lucky. My system is not at the port. So I would say applications has been running in America since how long? Since such and such, such and such. So they've been running a so-called algorithm since then of understanding how to put, what to put. Cause all it takes is some smart, extra genius motherfucker that know how to read that. Oh well, shit. Half America, you know. Female rights in paragraph.
I just don't. Yeah. Fuck it. I really do feel him like this shit shouldn't even be up for debate. But the fact that y'all got it up for debate, but you're trying to twist it, that's the aggravating part. Like, fuck it. Have it in your mind. But be in your mind.
You're putting it in school.
But that's where the problem comes in. If it's your feeling, then let it be your feeling.
It's a feeling.
Don't bring that shit to us, just like we can't express our feelings about y'all without having to be considered a crime. So what you're telling me is that you can commit the same crime against us and not be punished. But
they say, I'm sorry y'all, they say, I'll say it one more time. They say they had it worse than slaves before they was free. They need to make sense of that. Somebody need to sit here and sit down. I'm willing to have a conversation and explain to me how did y'all have it worse
than slaves before they were free?
Stop, man. Stop, man. I was not.
I mean, the person who said that should have been smacked right there on the spot. Somebody should have just reached across and smacked the shit out that person. We do not co-sign his statement. That's not what our group is about. I don't know where the fuck that came from, because that shit is no. Wow. But it's just funny how they're in their mind and how they feel. They're actually pressuring it on other people and getting away with it, but when people express how they feel about them, it's a crime. But it's not a crime when you do it.
Oh, brother, it's a crime, brother.
Oh, boy.
Yo, I got this other video that I want to bring up. This one
God doesn't care if you're mad.
is a doozy. It's a doozy. Voters fraud. You know, that's somewhat of a real thing, right? You don't know? Well, y'all look, check this out. It won't let me do it all. It won't let me do it all neatly, so that's okay. I don't care about being ghetto. So I want y'all to hear this.
You guys, but like other people mark off of it. We all equal, but you feel me? I don't know why they look at the black as so low.
This ain't nothing but an intro. Y'all see what the bottom says. BLM. It's Black Lives Matter. Says capitalism, different love. Doesn't love black people. Capitalism doesn't love black people. And we're gonna ask civilization people. Y'all gotta watch this, man. I don't care what's ghetto. I don't care. I gotta put this up the bottom. Gots to hear these people. You just can't be acting. I done heard better actors say
What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. The official Black Lives Matter Twitter page recently released a tweet that said capitalism doesn't love black people. So today we're in Los Angeles, California. We're going to see if people around here agree with that statement. JP, we ready to go?
We are ready to go.
Let's go talk to some people. The official Black Lives Matter Twitter page. They released a tweet recently that said capitalism doesn't love black people. Do you guys agree with this statement or do you disagree?
The way things going nowadays, I agree.
Overall, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I had to think about that for a second, yeah.
I agree. You agree with that?
Oh, yeah.
Why do you agree with that?
It's the way life is, man.
I'm going to say yes and no. I'm going to be in between.
Capitalism doesn't really love anybody, but capitalism, you know, it's always about making the money, but...
I don't agree with that.
And why do you not agree with that?
I don't agree with that because it affects different people differently.
For whatever reason the black community not like, it's just the true fact. We all equal, but you feel me? I don't know why they look at the black as so low.
I guess if you look generally overall, capitalism, the way it's written, should be good for everybody. But they're saying with the way it's structured here in the U.S. that it hasn't worked for black people. I get that. But I just think that I don't let no system design whether I succeed or fail.
I agree.
You agree?
I don't think it's fair.
Black Lives Matter, the official organization, brought in over $90 million in 2020. Corporations, a bunch of major corporations donated hundreds or promised to donate hundreds of millions to groups that support black lives. If capitalism doesn't love black people, then why would that be the case?
I'm not sure.
If capitalism doesn't love black people, what's going on there?
We don't get taking the money. They really taking the money from the Black Lives Matter.
Who is?
Whoever started it, they really are taking the money. They're via the funding.
Patrice Kohler's the co-founder of Black Lives Matter, the official organization. She bought 4 homes for $3.2 million. Do you guys trust these people?
No, I don't.
She sounds like she's benefiting from some capitalism.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If it's an organization called Black Lives Matter, they should be doing things for black lives. And I don't see anything where they're in the black communities, helping any black communities, black schools.
All that money, you're not seeing it in the community. So you donated all this money? And
where did it go?
She got it. She bought homes. She got it.
You see what they gain, but you don't know where it goes. And you're telling me that she bought a couple houses for how much?
4 houses for $3.2 million.
Yeah. That could have helped the school system, especially LA. USD school system is terrible.
You know, United States has more millionaire black Americans or black people than any other country across the world by a long shot. How do we explain that if capitalism doesn't love black people?
I think if you go back to historic evidence of how Africa became a poor continent, and it has everything to do with capitalism, with Europe, and as well as with the people from Europe that came here and actually invaded this land with their capitalism. You know, before 200-300 years, there were no homeless people. There weren't things as poverty.
Color, man, it's been like that forever. Come on, man.
Well, if black people are more successful here than across the world, then how do we say that capitalism hates black people?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
You don't believe that?
No, that's the line.
So there's not enough, let's say that. So they're saying there's too many. There's not enough.
We have more black millionaires
We
than...
need it in the rest of the world.
It sounds like you're happy, but you see room for improvement within success in the black community.
Heck yeah.
You know, if capitalism doesn't love black people, why is that?
Well, what about the other ones? That's the billionaires, you know? Is that a true statement?
It's a true statement. It's a true statement.
Oh,
Black millionaires.
it's a lot of black millionaires, but what
it's
about the...
I couldn't say who got more, but I know we don't have the most. No. I would have to actually, see, now that might be a project that I can get into because there's no way.
At first, when I first heard about it, I thought about it. I was like, nah, you're right. But then
I would say if I just had to put a place or a nation, I would have to say the English Empire. Yeah.
Have more black successful than us.
Yeah. I would have to say that by far. If I had to give it to any nation, I would say them.
The reason why I'm gonna have to give it to America, I had to really think about things. You can go in each category out there. You can go to each category out there and name a lot of black successful people. But then there's like a couple of areas that where there's just a bunch of successful black people. A bunch. And we're talking about over decades of have been getting bread. Decades. How long is a decade? 10 years? 10? So that's only, yeah.
I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that we don't have a nice number, but I don't think we have the most successful black people.
When they start letting black people in the sports,
yeah.
okay.
But even then, before they let us do sports here, we were already doing sports around the world. No, you motherfuckers be treated like royalty. That's a total, money, big boy cash, titles, land. You know what I'm saying? This shit here
we brand new.
Is if you just know, like if we're brand new. You're right.
They say one thing about America. It's the most easiest place to come up in any other country.
Yes. It is definitely a land of opportunities. If you can figure out a way to get it, you can have it.
That's why they say it's a lot more successful black people here.
You can figure out a way to get it, you can have it. Motherfucker don't give a fuck.
It's less restrictions here to get it. People, I don't know, like, to me, that's not hard to get the concept on, because I've been watching a lot of videos about other countries. And not the understanding the hate, understanding like both sides, but understanding like where it comes down to the economical growth. Like how our system here is so unique. Y'all really gotta really think about some shit. Our system here is so unique because there's this thing called loopholes and money talks and bullshit walks. Like that's
it's a broken system for broken people, and it works for us. It works for us. It really does, and that goes to show you how sick we are. That we can damn near conquer the whole planet with this broke system and convince everybody that it's right. And those who don't feel that it is right really ain't got no power to do nothing about it.
how you. I like that talk right there. For those people to be like, I'm gonna start dealing with such and such money, such and such money. I'm not dealing with such and such money. There's no capitalism fucking way you cannot avoid dealing with people.
Yeah, shit. If you gonna make money, you gotta deal with
You know
people.
what I'm saying?
That go without saying.
With people, you know what I'm saying? But I ran into like two people, man, that just strongly believe by the time they hit that dirt and be gone, their money is gonna be flowing without touching white people. I like use a white black fool.
Yeah, no.
Like no, bro. And I just like this is like freaking America. You know,
it's a broke system for broke people, but it works for us.
Y'all better wake up, man.
A lot of black people struggling.
The millionaires, even in the rap game, our black people don't do enough for the, they actually teaching these kids to do the wrong thing growing up. You know what I mean? So it's like, to each his own.
Rapping about not doing drugs instead of doing drugs.
And then they rap a lot about hitting on black women.
As, you know, socioeconomic status and everything, African Americans are at a disproportionate level to everyone else other than Native Americans, so...
Is it a skin color thing, or is it a cultural thing, or what is it?
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
What are you gonna really look up to? You know what I mean? You look up to yourself and read that Bible. That's all I can say. Because the trending out here nowadays is bad.
You mentioned all this stuff. You mentioned how there's still a lot of, black people, black Americans in the United States that are poor. Could that be a contributing factor to that?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, it can.
No offense, but I feel like we are the future.
To me?
Yeah, I mean, because
For what?
you're white.
I'm not white.
What are you?
I'm Asian.
Really?
No. Nigerian Americans, their median family income is pretty much on par with white Americans' median family income. If race gets punished in a capitalist society, why are they making close to the same amount of money, or basically the same amount of money?
I mean, Nigeria, that
They don't
is
like
gonna
us
stay.
either.
Nigerians?
No.
Why do you think that is when African Americans, you would say, are on the lower scale of things next to Native Americans?
I don't really know. I work in academia, so that's definitely something, but...
Yeah, my applause to them for doing what they do, but you get anybody that comes from really rough circumstances and put them in an easier circumstance.
They didn't understand how immigrants came over here. And I was like, bro, all immigrants take a 10-year process to come over here in this country. They have to be good in their country, don't do no crime.
Yeah, they gotta go to classes and
Right.
take courses.
And he was like, so what about, and I was like, Australia, and I named France and woo woo. He said, man, what about the China? I said, yeah, they gotta go through a 10-year process, but it's no different. He said, so why so many of them? Because it's easier for them because they train themselves at a young age. Like, for people that don't know something, this is real small and easy to look up, but y'all don't see the bigger picture of some shit. In China, don't have janitors in their schools. I'm gonna repeat this. In China, there are no janitors in school. So all through school, their kids are cleaning up. So they've been properly raised and trained to be a good citizen and how to clean up and be nice and
Play your part. For the collective. It's all for the collective.
I didn't want to say the B word, cause you know what I'm saying, I ain't gonna look at me and be like, oh, he's no, but that's what that's about, you know what I'm saying. And we heard that's why I'm like, man, I will argue with anybody when I was like, man, this ain't the best. What on the what? Nigga, this is the best. This is the best. You know what I'm saying? Y'all better wake up. I ain't gonna even play all this video. I just had to run some videos and get things started. K-Dog, any final words, final thoughts?
I mean, some of this shit that's going on, man, just really has me like, and I'm a very open-minded person, but it's just like some things should just not be brought to the light of day, like shit need to be kept in dungeons, dark places. It don't make no fucking sense. Like, it don't make no sense. Like that gender shit, I don't get it. say nothing about it because I don't understand it. I'm not gonna be somebody trying to talk about something that I don't understand, and my brain can't allow me to even try to figure out some shit that don't make no sense. It's illogical. It don't make no sense. It's but and then capitalism against black people, I don't believe that. I mean, shit, we all about making money, so if anything, shit, every black person is a capitalist. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, shit, look what the fuck we do with what we have, nigga. We flip it, we roll it, we tuck it, and we make it bake. Fuck. So I don't, that's just me. I'm simple. You know what I'm saying? I don't try to dance with all that extra shit. You know what I'm saying? I see it, but I like the simplicity of it all because with all of that smoking and the mirrors and all of that shit, your core has to still be the same. And that's what I'm all about. Like, you can come at me with whatever you want to come at me, but if your core ain't the same, then it's yeah, Raw Coffee. I mean, these were some articles that, shit. I mean, I'm fucked up. That's even a debate. On both counts. But, that's me, Raw Coffee.
My final thoughts on anything or on today life is a lot of people say they don't let nothing slip past them. Oh, I'm on it. I'm on everything. I don't let nothing slip past them. I know everything that's going on. I got my ear to the streets, as they call it. You know what I'm saying? My foundation is set. We as Americans literally almost let the government shut down home businesses over a damn needle or an injection. Let me say that. An injection. So this is really waking me up to like really get serious up on this shit and really put some stuff to the light and talk about some stuff marijuanically because it's really serious. And I will be hitting y'all with some of that hot fire of these articles and getting more serious on this stuff. Also hitting y'all with that sports too. You know what I'm saying? Get up on that sports because, man, the weekend's coming soon. Your favorite football team. Football come to the end. The Olympics is about to start. Hockey is in full swing.
They're tripping off of that too. I was watching the news about that, but we'll talk about that another time.
Baseball might be on a strike type shit.
They're the most paid motherfucking athletes, period. They are the highest paid athletes. How do you guys go on strike?
But they the second most players on the field too. You know, 99. Even though it's really what? 11? But you know, whatever, 99. So, yeah, I got the most people. Second most people hit the field. Well, third most. Soccer, football, baseball.
In they series, the playoffs, I guess that's why they get paid more. Because they put the most time in. I mean, the motherfuckers work, bro.
Spring training. Winter training. Yep. But these are my few thoughts. I do got the money, as y'all see. It's wild. And what's crazy, I have a lot of more stories to tell. It's not, I mean, I ain't even scratched the surface of what's going on. But I will not go over old videos unless I'm just trying to prove a point to somebody. Other than that, I will be moving on. Good morning. I will be moving on to bigger and better things. This has been raw coffee. I'll let the boy. Yeah.